Hey y'all. Okay, so second section for this week is section 8, trig ratios, and I'm in your book on page 649. All right, so trig, what is trig? Okay, trig is basically the study of relationships among angles and sides of a triangle. I'm just reading this little vocab right here. There are three main trig ratios that I want to discuss with you today: sine, cosine, and tangent. And there are your words right there: sine, cosine, and tangent. They're written out completely. We abbreviate it by just doing sin like that, and some people think it's the word sin, but it's not. It's pronounced sine. But anyway, it's abbreviated. It looks like sin, but anyway, it's sine, cosine, and tangent. And there's a little thing that helps me remember sine, cosine, and tangent. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but it's Oscar had a heap of apples. Okay, just remember that. Oscar had a heap of apples. Okay, so all right, look. Your sine ratio is the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Your cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And your tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so let me explain kind of what that is. Okay, so I'm going to turn over and I'm going to go to the exercises starting on page 652. And I'm just going to look at one, let's just look at number 2, for example. Okay, number 2 says find the values of the 3 trig ratios for angle A. And again, the 3 trig ratios are sine, cosine, and tangent. Very important that they told you that it was angle A. You have to know what angle you're looking at. Like if it was angle B, the answers would be different. So that does make a difference, okay? So, all right, so the first thing I want you to always do is label your triangle. And I know I'm not supposed to write in the book. I'm going to erase this, but just to make this easier for the video. Okay, so obviously the side across from the right angle is always going to be the hypotenuse. That will never change. The one straight across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. But now the opposite and adjacent sides, they change depending on which angle we're referring to. Well, we're talking about angle A. So if the opposite side from angle A, if we're looking at angle A, the opposite side is the one all the way across from it. So that would be over here. Notice I labeled it opposite. The one adjacent to it, I don't know if you know what the word adjacent means. If you're adjacent to something, you're right next to it. The one adjacent to it is the one closest to it. That would be this side, if we're referring to angle A. Okay, so it's imperative that you label those 3 things before you start. After that, it should be a piece of cake, okay? So the sine of angle A, I actually didn't write this out ahead of time, so y'all forgive me. All right, the sine of angle A, okay, for this number 2, the sine would be opposite over hypotenuse. That would be 3/5. So once you have it labeled, it's just a matter of writing it down. The cosine of angle A, go back to my picture. Cosine is, remember, Oscar had a heap. So adjacent over hypotenuse, that would be 4/5. Okay, so 4/5. Tan of angle A, remember tan is of apples. Oscar had a heap of apples. So of apples, that's opposite over adjacent. Okay, opposite over adjacent here would be 3/4. And that's it. That's all you do. Okay, that's number 2. All right, there's a couple of more things obviously in this section, but I'm going to have to do it in a separate video.